That was really loud. We're building Maxilos and Spinax today. Hi everybody. It's been a while. I hope everyone has been well these past, oh god, how long has it been? Years, I guess? You might be wondering where the heck I've been. I'll talk more about that as I'm building. Let's just say college life and other fun things. But shall we get started on this? No dilly-dallying here. I got the instructions pulled up on my laptop. It's a bit difficult to do. Anywho, instructions. Yippee. You can't see it. The freaking white balance is all screwed up on here. But hey, look at that, Maxilos and Spinax. I never had this set when I was a kid. This set was... Well, I was like 6 years old. I was also it was kind of a weird time. I know this was like when Transformers came out, and I was really focused on the Transformers movies, so I didn't really have a lot of time for Bionicle stuff. Though I had Holly Mari, and I guess Jowler as well. Thanks, Microsoft. And I guess Jowler as well. And Karapar and Takedox for the Baraki. And also I guess Nocturne too. I have Nocturne as well. Hang on, something's missing here. Hang on. That's better. Let's try to move this back a little bit. I'm gonna adjust the camera here. Anywho, yeah. So, like, when this set came out, I didn't really have... Well, for one, I was 6 years old. I didn't really know who any of these characters were. I wasn't really following the story to a certain extent. But, regardless, here we are. I finally have this set after 20 years. I've been rebuying a bunch of old sets. But, yeah. We can begin. I can begin owning this set. So, let's open this up. I got this off of Bricklink. I don't remember the seller's name. I'll have to remember and put it in post. I'll just put it right here, but focus up here. There. Apologies, this is going to be half-assed. There's Spinax. This is my first time doing a live building thing, so I'm kind of like, ooh. But we're going to do it anyway. We're going to see how it goes. The seller packed this very, very well. Ooh, spilling out Bionicle parts. I have missed that. I want to talk about his mask. I really like Maxilos's mask here. Probably one of my favorite Kanohi masks. Or it's not even a Kanohi mask. It's just like a robot face. He has no Kanohi power. Well, it's not even Maxilos. It's Makuta. Spoilers! If you didn't know. I like his mask. Anywho, I'm gonna move all this to this. Oh jeez. All this to the side because we gotta build Spinax first. Apologies if I was sniffling a lot too. I'm getting over a cold. So not the best time for me right now, but hey, you know what? It's, that's how it is. So, Spinax. Here he is. In pieces. I actually do have some of these parts technically. One of my buddies from high school, he let me dig through his old parts bin and buy some parts off him for 20 bucks, and I got some good parts out of it, mostly Maxilos's mask and Spinax's headpiece, so I have all these pieces already, as well as the two gray versions of Vizon's face. Didn't get any of these though, but I need more of these. I won't say for what, but if you know, you know. Anywho, regardless, we have Maxilos here in bits and pieces, so we're going to scroll down on my instructions, and we're going to begin. So, how have you guys been? It's been way too long since I have done anything on this channel regarding Bionicle, or just anything that for that matter. I probably should start explaining myself, because everyone's like, where's the BCU? Where is everything that you've been doing? Long story short, the BCU was, well, it was me being too ambitious. I was a kid. I was a high schooler, wanting to at least try to make something. Fun fact, the BCU came from me watching Infinity War, the day it came out, and I'm like, I want to make a Bionicle Cinematic Universe, and I wrote it on paper and taped it to my wall. That was just me trying to be overly ambitious and an overachiever. I had too much... I guess I promised too much and I didn't deliver on it. So it was unfortunate. Would I have liked to do it? Would I still like to do it? Eventually. Maybe someday I would still like to do it. But at this time, it is not something I'm actively developing. A lot of the mocks that I made, a lot of the characters that I made for the BCU itself are long gone. Like, they're dismantled and taken apart, mostly because I'm trying to rebuild sets that I had, Bionicle sets and whatnot, as you probably can figure out by me building Spinax here. But it was just not a great, like, in hindsight, it wasn't very well planned, and it wasn't very well planned, and it was, unfortunately, something that I was going to fail regardless. I had a lot of good ideas too. I'll talk about them here too since we're doing this. I had ideas like, I wanted this whole thing where Thanos was just kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm gonna focus that a little bit better. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy. Something in the story would have happened where when he activated in the underground facilities of Tectonic's tower, it would have been revealed that he himself activated himself. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of, oh, he did this to himself, he's the reason he's alive, yada yada yada. So personally, I think it's a really cool concept. Some people think it might be convoluted. Whatever you think, I still wanted to do it. I'm not going to use that piece. I still wanted to do it, and I would have liked to still be able to do it, but it's a lot. And the techniques I wanted to use too were also very convoluted and confusing. Like, I wanted to use like 3D models. There's his face. Look at that. Man, this is like really unfocused. Maybe I should. So is it manual focus? There we go. Okay. I wanted to use like 3D models to put these characters into a 3D setting, a lot like the Ignition project or whatever, that one project that's going on that is retelling the Ignition, like the Fantoka Mystica year. That's cool, by the way. I really like that, what they're doing there. That's really cool. There's his body. I really like what they're doing with that. I've got to build a link chain. But besides all that, I wanted to do something similar to that, but I just could never figure out how, mostly because I didn't have the skills or the experience to do that, so it was very much a precarious, not precarious, it's a very, very, like, daunting task to create something of that scale by yourself, especially when I'm writing it, directing it, animating it, and all sorts of other junk, you know? It gets a lot. It's, you know, it gets to you a little bit, and I feel like the reason why I didn't even go through with the story in the first place was because if I did it and it didn't turn out great, this camera's kind of tilted, sorry. If I did it and it didn't turn out great, I feel like I would have just, it would have just been all for nothing. Because why would I do it if, why would I do it if it's just gonna turn out like crap? Like, to be completely honest, it's like, why even do it? I didn't want to disappoint anybody. I didn't want to make the story. Because I had a lot of people on this project, too. You know, Tectonic, Startix Films, Mr. Jake the Potato Lord, Juggernaut, Juggernaut Films, whatever he goes by now. Glass Laughter, Blue Venator. I had a lot of people on this project, and I did not want to let any of them down. And I felt I would feel really bad if I did, because this is something that they all wanted. Granted, you know, not doing the project is kind of worse than, you know, is kind of worse than just doing it bad. But I mean, at the same time, if you're gonna, like, doing it bad, it just feels just as bad as, you know, doing it bad feels just as wrong just not doing it either. So it's like, what am I gonna do, right? I kind of put myself in a precarious situation. It doesn't help that there was some behind the scenes trouble with some of the characters too, and I had to switch around the roster, as you might have seen on Instagram. It was a whole debacle. But that was years ago at this point. That was almost 10 years ago now. So, I'm sure, I hope the parties that involved in that forgive and forget. I know I have at this point. Since I'm not doing it anymore, but yeah. Anywho, hey, look at that, look at that. Spinax is done. Look at that, cool. Spinax is done. So we're gonna move on to Maxilos now. Yeah, we're gonna move on to Maxilos. I'm just gonna adjust some settings on the camera because this looks blown out as shit. Give me 1 second. Okay, we're back after messing with some of the camera settings. It looks less blown out now, but we're gonna get to Maxilos now. Oh, cut me all the parts. Wah. We're gonna get to Maxilos. So, here he is, in parts. Probably the best Titan from the year. Oops, I got that stuck. Kind of a squeaky Midak, or not Midak blaster, Cordax blaster. Anywho, let's get started. So, where was I? Ah, yes, BCU. Also, you can see Aqua's right there. Say hi, Aqua. Hello. But the BCU, yes. Let me see if I can get this higher, because Maxilos is a lot bigger of a character. That'll work. Yeah, that's better. So yeah, so that's kind of where I stood on the BCU. Just kind of a hot mess. It was a hot mess that I really didn't. I was trying to overachieve. I was trying to do too much with, quite frankly, too little skill and time. Matter of fact. Also, I just am piss poor at time management and my time management skills. So I'm just kind of like, yeah. So that's kind of how that went. Anyway, let me just set some of these chunky parts. Now I know how reviewers feel, because this is actually like not. This is actually quite difficult. But regardless, that's where the BCU is. It is unfortunately no longer a thing, and I'm stopping. I don't want to say stopping. I mean, I'm making this video, but I guess I'm trying to do something else, maybe do something else and then work my way up to something story-wise. I still want to tell a story. Maybe it is not exactly the BC, maybe it's some other kind of story, but a story nonetheless. But that's just where I am with it. Ooh, there's some parts under my laptop. Get back here. That's just, I mean, I've had a good relationship with BioTube. I have. I've tried to make stuff. I made trailers on 4 trailers. I have unfinished trailers I've been working on and other things. And like, as much as I would love to continue working on them and actually like do that and make it a thing that I can like show off, it's just, I don't think it's gonna happen. Not because I don't want to. Again, it just comes down to the fact that I don't have like, I just don't have the time to do it anymore. I work full time funny enough, at a Bricks and Minifigs. So if you guys ever want any Lego stuff, let me know. I'm your dealer. I'll give you the good stuff. But no, I don't know. Sometimes I've felt so overwhelmed with the BCU, trying to be a perfectionist with it, that it's kind of eaten me alive, and it's I don't know. It's not a good mentality, to be honest. It's not very good, and I hate that. I don't want to see this project of mine that I wanted to do for so long as like a burden, as something that I shouldn't be doing, because it takes too much pressure off of me, or it's putting so much pressure on me to deliver this sort of thing that I promised when I was a teenager. I'm 24 now, and I'm like, I feel like it's just time to move past it. like I started developing the BCU. I guess that's the proper word. I started developing the BCU when I was, what, 17 or 18 in high school, trying to make a name for myself on BioTube, trying to prove myself. I mean, I've appeared in so many freaking. I've appeared in a handful of projects now on BioTube that it's like, people know who I am. People know me through some of that stuff, but I wanted to do something myself that proved to people to, you know, who I am and, you know, what I wanted to do, you know. But I'm like, oh, my Discord's going off. Fantastic. Hey, sorry about that. I thought I'd turn that off. I'm gonna mute my computer. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna just mute that. There we go. Anywho, I thought I also installed Discord off this computer. Regardless, apologies. Here we are with Maxilos. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot that kind of went into what happened with the BCU. Because also, I mean, I'm going to school for film and television. I'm wanting to do actual film stuff outside of YouTube and BioTube, you know. And as much as I would love to do the BCU and do BCU stuff, I just don't have the time for it anymore. I'm a full-time college student and I'm working too, so I'm like, I don't know, I just don't have time to create content like that. Will I maybe have time to create other types of content like this? Yeah, I mean, this is my day off today, so I can do that. But other forms of content like stuff from the BCU probably is not going to happen. The BCU was a pipe dream. I keep going back and saying it, and I apologize, but it's a pipe dream. It was a pipe dream. It was me being inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe and its intertwining things. To go back on some more story tangents that I'll talk about. These parts. I wanted to do. I wanted to do some story-related things, for example, so. For the BCU weird to say, for the BCU heads in the audience who want to know more lore stuff related to it, I wanted to have a part in it where it is shown that the reason Atlantis sunk and the reason why Aqua was orphaned was because of Thanos. Thanos went back in time to try to prevent Aqua from ever even existing, but ended up again causing his own destiny, if you will. Very Kung Fu Panda-esque, I know, but I thought that was a really cool thing, having tying the two main characters of the BCU, Thanos and Aqua, into this like cosmically aligned fate of like one versus another, like they were always destined to fight each other. They were destined to become brothers, in a sense. I think that that's such a cool concept, and I wanted to put that into the story and, you know, make that such a huge, prominent, and relevant, like, part of it. That no matter where Thanos went, Aqua was always following, or no matter where Aqua went, Thanos was always following, you know? I put on the wrong side. Just something cool like that. I think that's such a cool concept that, like, time travel can be weird. I can agree with people on that. Time travel in a lot of media can be very confusing and, frankly, poorly done, poorly executed. And I was trying to not follow as many tropes, you know, like that as I could. And to a degree, I think I did pretty okay. At least writing-wise and whatnot. But to a certain extent, I wanted to just do something cool where, and another thing too was, like, Thanos reviving himself was, I think I already said that, but Thanos reviving himself was another, like, cosmically ordained thing. There was another character that I was going to introduce. It was like, so this was when I was pulling a lot of inspiration from the legend himself, Max 1613. No matter what you think about him, I still think his videos and his story were quite okay. Where's that part? There it is. Get back to YouTube. Ooh, come on. I wanted to borrow the idea of the Celestials, these hugely cosmic beings that controlled essentially the entire multiverse. I thought it'd be cool if I created a character who was related to the Celestial from Minimax series. His name was going to be was it Ragnarok? It might have been Ragnarok. I think, I don't remember. It's been a while, but I wanted him to be like, I was going to have exposition like tying into the the grand super big the grand amazing Bionicle cinematic multiverse or whatnot, is that every universe, every excuse me, every universe in the Bionicle story, or in BioTube as a whole, in the mass multimedia thing that it is, every universe had a Celestial at the core of it that handled the the universal affairs, like making sure the universe was correctly made and just taken care of, and just kind of dealing with that sort of stuff, being like the overseer of the universe. So there's his head. There you go, look at that. We're building his legs now. Like, I think that idea is cool. I think that idea is awesome. Like, having this cosmic being be in charge of said universe, making sure it's running smoothly, and making sure, like, no, you have nothing with it's going wrong. For Aqua's universe and the entire universe of the BCU itself, that Celestial died. Somehow, some way. Don't know how. I don't think I ever fleshed out how it was going to die in the first place, but it's died. And it couldn't finish its job. So the universe kind of went out of whack for a while and went rogue in a lot of its things, which is why Aqua exists. Aqua was supposed to be a he was a universal anomaly. He was not supposed to exist, and his existence was just not supposed to happen. The Aqua we see in the BCU before the ending, which I'll get into here in a second, is supposed to be the only Aqua in the entire multiverse. And you may be asking, oh, but wait, why is Aqua in the Adventures of Tech? Or how is Aqua then in oh god, what was it? Self-Mock Adventures. Well, firstly, Self-Mock Adventures is comedy. However, at the end of the series, I was going to have Aqua do a self-sacrifice, but the hero self-sacrificed himself. But in doing that, he essentially splits himself. Instead of being a singular being in one universe, he becomes, like everyone else, a multiversal constant. Come on, there we go. He is part of the multiverse, and he is in every universe, whether it's small role, big role, whatever it is. Aqua exists in that universe. There's a leg, by the way. Whoopee, tiny shins. I'm gonna modify this later. So I thought to myself, I would blah, 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 oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm rambling at this point. I'm going crazy. So at that point, that's how I explained Aqua being in all these different shows and series and whatnot, and these different iterations. Minus one. It was either, I think it was either Chapter Omega or Valor. I forget the title of it. It was William Inferno's series. That version of Aqua was technically, and is, the original version of Aqua from the end of the BCU. I was gonna explain it, be like, oh, he got pulled away before he died. It was like an end credit scene at the end of the movie. It's like Ragnarok pulls him out, or revives him for a second. It's like, hey, we still pauses time of the multiverse or whatever, and it's like, hey, we got one last adventure for you. And he goes over to do Chapter Omega, and that's how that's explained. Fun little tidbit for you, I guess. How did this go? Oh, like that. So, yeah. And then it kind of gives more, I guess, grandeur to the idea that, oh, Aqua being this singular entity, he's like, oh, my life doesn't matter then. I'm not supposed to exist, blah, 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 blah. But in reality, in truth, his life does matter. His life is probably the most important life in his universe, because he himself created, he gave himself the purpose he's always wanted. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm trying to like, I never really finalized anything. So there's the leg. Ooh, leg, ooh. I never really finalized a lot of those concepts. They never really went anywhere. So, yeah. Alright, let's get another leg done. But that's where I kind of wanted the story to go. And one of the reasons how Thanos even got Thanos was supposed to be the last, like, it was supposed to go. I was gonna split it up into arcs, chapters, whatever you want to call it, right? And one of the last chapters was going to be, it was, so the villain, so Thanos was the villain of the first chapter, the first arc, right? Which takes place in central Maxilos City after Tech becomes, like, a hermit and isn't around anymore. Which was also another thing, too. That's another thing I was going to do. I was going to have, and you probably noticed from the trailers, too. Where's the other foot? There it is. Probably noticed from the trailers, too. Tech is, at least this universe's Tech, is Aqua's surrogate father. He adopted Aqua, and took care of him and made sure that Aqua had everything he needed to grow up into a hero. And that's what Aqua was going to become, just a hero. Not like a hero factory hero, of course. No, like your traditional like Superman, Batman sort of hero. And because of that, Aqua learns about his past and learns about who he is, blah blah blah, and food, and Thanos wakes up. He finds out, like, hey, my dad lied to me, blah blah blah. It's gonna be a whole thing. I had at least the first movie thought out in full. So that at least exists in my mind. I still want to maybe at least write a document, at least going over like a document, like talking about and writing the story of it, so people can at least understand what is going on in the story. So everyone's not just left in the dark about, hey, who the hell are these people? Whatever happened to these characters? I thought that's the least I can do without giving, since I can't give you guys a full story. So, yeah, there's a lot I wanted to do. And there's a lot that I still do want to do. What else? Oh, right. I was talking about the arcs. I'm sorry, I got completely sidetracked. Freaking ADHD brain going crazy. Arc 1 was Thanos, in Old Mago City. Arc 2 was one of the side villains. I think his name was Krax, I'm pretty sure. He came back as an Aeonix. I know, deep biotube lore cut. If you don't know what an Aeonix is, I think it was Elira from the old biotube days. Had a thing where fans of her content and fans of her mocks could make their own Aeonix characters. And I did that. I made my own Aeonix character. His name was Frostbite, and I'm sure for those who have been following me for the past, oh my god, has it been over 10 years? Has it really been that long? Oh my god. They would know who he is, and if you don't, he's the character Krax and Freeze were two of Thanos' lackeys that, they're the henchmen. They're going to be part of the comic relief sort of thing. Think of like Bonnie and Clyde sort of dynamic. Yeah, they're like siblings, and they took care of each other. So that kind of thing. The finale, Freeze dies, and just leaves Krax. To, just leaves Krax by himself, right? Obviously not on purpose, he dies, but what are you gonna do? Come on. The legs, there he is. He's really big. I'll have to put him in camera later, but oh, there he is. He is tall. Oh my god, I didn't realize how tall this guy is. Anywho, so as the story progressed, Freeze gets gifted the powers of an Aeonics through this mysterious figure, and he would become the main villain of Arc 2. And he would do like some cool things. I was seeing him. I saw him like a lot as like a Darth Maul figure, like in like how he was after he left the Sith. He became like a crime lord and ran criminal underground networks. And I was going to expand this to space, and there was going to be all sorts of fun things happening, and you know, all that good stuff. Then the villain of the third arc would technically be a character. What was her name? I don't remember her name, but she was like kind of a not a surrogate brother, like a. She was someone Ragnarok, the Celestial, created to kind of help run the universe while he was doing other tasks. So she was kind of like the second in command of the universe. She didn't like that very much, and she just kind of became evil. I mean, I guess that's the best way to put it. She just very, very similar theming of jealousy, I suppose, between Thanos and this other character. I don't remember her name though. It's been a long time since I remember her name. Anywho, regardless, I wanted to make her the third main villain of the BCU. And then it was going to be revealed that, oh, you know, she's the one that helps Thanos revive himself. She's the one that gave the keys, that gave the powers of an Aeonics to Frostbite. You know, she's been the one kind of pulling the strings, trying to destroy what her brother, I guess, in her brother, whatever you want to call her, her creator created. Like, she's just very jealous and all that fun stuff. So she revived Thanos, and it was essentially like using him as a sort of I want to say not surrogate, like as a conduit for her power. Obviously, that didn't end very well for her. Well, not obviously, I should say, because you guys don't know. That doesn't end very well for her. Thanos essentially kills her and takes her powers, and then uses her power. We're almost at the home stretch, by the way. I just realized. This went a lot faster than I thought it did. She essentially used Thanos for like as a conduit, but that didn't really work out very well. So Thanos then just decided to say, no, screw you, and kill her, and take her powers, and then he becomes like the last main threat of the series, essentially becoming a god himself. What his kind of his end goal, character goal was, he was like, I want to be a god to prove to my creator, wrong character, Tech, that he was worth his time and his attention. A lot of jealousy stuff going on. Anywho, this is getting kind of wonky. Just putting the shoulder pads on. There you go. There's his body done. I got to do his weapons now. I have to do this too. So yeah, there was a lot. There was that going on. So you know, because of that, Thanos would essentially become full circle and go for full circle, and Thanos essentially became the big main bad of the series at the end of it. You know, as he should, because he's probably the best villain I've ever made. We gotta do the Quarterdeck Blaster now. But that's kind of how I wanted it to go, and just how it was planned to. You know, and then everything crashed and burned, and I'm not doing it anymore. So, but I guess that's the quick rundown of like the story of it, where it was going to go. So, there you go. Maybe I'll still do it one day. I don't know if I will, but maybe I'll still do it one day. Maybe I'll eventually go back when I have time, or when I have the resources to rebuild everyone and do everything again, but it's been a long time. So who knows? Who knows what'll happen? I just need the sword. Let's do that. Oh, he's having to stop standing. He's an old set, so that's fair. Alrighty, let's do a sword now. Sword, blade, whatever you want to call this thing. It's kind of nice talking about all this now after so long. I don't want to say I've kept people in the dark, but I've never really been able to talk to you guys about this, to my audience. It's something I was trying to keep everything secret because I'm like, oh, I want this to be a surprise, but since I'm not doing it anymore, it's just kind of become, it just kind of becomes like, why would I be hiding it, you know? So, as we're making the sword here, we're about done with Maxilos and Spinax. This has been fun. I'm definitely gonna do more of these. I got more parts coming for other things, so we'll do another one probably later, and we can talk about more things. Probably set up the camera better so it looks nicer and whatnot. But regardless, we're going to connect this to here. Can't really see it. Try to get I'm just trying to do this the best I can. I apologize. Connect this here. Just goes in there. This piece is like that. Where does that go? It connects to the hilt. And then this axle goes here. And let's give him his weapon. We'll be right back. And here he is. Not in the best way you can see him, but we're going to give him his weapon, and we'll be done with Maxilos and Spinax. Oh my god. Get on there, dude. There we go. Now, there he is. Yeah, you can't really see him. Hang on, let me back up the camera a second. Hang on. Just lift it up like that. There he is. Maxilos, and then there's his buddy Spinax. There he is. So, this set does have a problem. The legs are very floppy. It's the old friction extender joints. That's why I decided to make this. I found this somewhere on Reddit. Someone made this. It just does a fun little thing where it connects to the back here, and then these just connect down here. And I'm gonna leave him like this because this is a ingenious way of solving his loose leg syndrome and loose leg problem. So now he actually can stand up better. The arms are a different story, but you know what? You do what you can. So there you go. There is Maxilos and Spinax done. Let me move him back. Thank you guys for joining me and watching this. I know it's been a long time. I haven't been around, but I appreciate your guys' patience and just, I guess, not loyalty, but just general admiration for what I do. I try to take pride in what I do, and I try to take pride in the stuff that I put out. What I do, at least. Those trailers were fun. Those trailers were cool. I liked how those turned out too. And for everyone I've disappointed saying the BCU is no longer happening, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about that. It's what happens with stuff like this, I guess, and it's part of you know, the life of. It's just part of how it is. You want to do things. Sometimes you're too ambitious, even for what you want to do. I do wish though. I should rephrase this. I do want to wish luck to anybody who is making a Bionicle series. And I know it probably isn't easy. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. But you are doing a good job. And if anyone has not told you that yet, you are doing a great job. And I'm proud that you are putting the work and the time and the effort into it, because I know how hard it is and how annoying it can be to get that all set up and done. Regardless, though, I thank you all for coming and joining me and watching me build Maxilos and Spinax. Probably my favorite Titan from 2007. Please, leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think, and if you want to leave some feedback on how I can do this better next time, because I will be making another set next time. I have the parts on order. It's gonna be very fun. And I just look up the set. One set that I also never owned as a kid, and I'm very excited to own. Oh, can you see it? You see it well? Can you see it? Can you see it good? It's Brutaka. You can't really see it, but it's Brutaka. It's Brutaka. Anywho, I'll be back for Build Brutaka whenever those parts come in. So, again, thanks for joining. This is Aquatics, and I wish you guys a wonderful day. Hope to see you guys again soon.